Okay, Sami, we are live. You can start now.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Sami Ahmed. I am the CEO and co-founder of Marja Platform. It's a Mina leading online platform for educational opportunities, helping youth from all the MENA region to connect to education opportunities. My degree program was dentistry, so it's pleasure to be here with MSF in this amazing program. It's amazing live to talk more about the program and the fellowship. So at the beginning, I would love to introduce the panelists with me. So can we start each one to give a fast intro about himself? We can start with ladies, Caroline.
Hi, everybody. My name's Caroline King. I'm the project manager for LEAP based at MSF UK. I've been working for MSF on and off since 2006, both in the field and for the operational desk in Berlin. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Jassim?
Hi everyone, I'm Jassim Moore. I'm project officer for the LEAP program, working closely with Caroline at MSF UK in London. I've been with MSF for almost 2 years now, and my background is more in higher education overall.
Okay, Hisham.
Yeah, my name is Hisham. I have been working with MSF since 5 years and a half almost, and I am like a student with the LEAP since like 2 years and a bit. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm happy that we have a student and we have also coordinators. So it's the two sides to hear the two sides of the story. So at the beginning, for our listeners, we would like to know more about what is LEAP program. So who would like to answer, Caroline or Jassim?
Yeah, I would love to. So the LEAP stands for the Leadership Education Academic Partnership, and it's a partnership between MSF globally, held by MSF UK, the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, which is the oldest school of tropical medicine in the world, and Manchester's Humanitarian Conflict Response Institute, which is a leading humanitarian school. So we're very much bringing together academic programs and MSF as a practitioner. And that's a really unique relationship to build a master's together that reflects the academic thinking and the practical side which MSF brings.
Okay, amazing. And can you tell us about the journey when someone got accepted in LEAP? Jassim?
Yeah, so the process of how it works is that typically you would apply directly to your operational center for the program. And then each operational center has a slightly different application process, which the applicant would then go through. If the applicant is successful, then they will be selected to apply directly to the University of Manchester. And then after processing their application, they will officially become a University of Manchester student. We have 2 different dates of when students can start, so either in September or in January. So that's just the start of the 2 different terms. And then depending on the pathway they're on, they can study for a number of different years. So for example, if they're doing a postgraduate certificate, this is typically a course which runs for 1 to 2 years. If they're doing a postgraduate diploma, this is a course which typically runs for about 2 or 3 years. And if they're doing a full master's, then they can study that between 3 and 5 years.
Okay, great. And before I go to Hisham and ask him about the program, also I would like to know more about the requirements to apply. So we have talked about overview about the program, about the application. What is the requirement to apply? How I can apply? Caroline, or yeah, you can go ahead.
I can jump in and Jassim can complete. So requirements to apply, there's some basic university requirements. So you have to demonstrate that you have a certain English level, and there's lots of different ways we can measure that. So if you're a non-native English speaker, you have to normally have a certification or have already studied in English. Or if you're selected for the program, you can then take a certification to prove you have that level. There's a sort of standard educational route in where you would have a first degree of a good level in a relevant subject. But one of the really flexible things about LEAP is that we also recognize people who have professional experience. So we're very much bringing in people without the standard educational background, but who have worked for MSF in the field for a number of years and can prove their level of thinking and writing through that role. So that's the university requirements. On top of that, each OC has requirements, and this varies a little bit in terms of each OC, but normally it is about 2 or 3 years experience minimum with MSF. We would normally expect that you've had some field experience as well. So they would be the main requirements, but as I said, our website details how it's a little bit different for each operational center.
Okay, Justin, do you want to add anything?
Nothing significant more to add. Just a note that the program's also available for externals as well. So if there is anyone external to MSF on the stream right now, if you don't work for MSF, then you can also apply for the program too. But you have to apply outside of MSF. You can't apply through an operational center. You'd apply directly to the universities.
Okay, great. So Hisham, when did you have take the program? From 1 year, I believe, or 1.5 years or something like that?
Actually I started with the process at the end of 2018 while I was working with the Spanish section. So I got accepted, and then I moved to the OCG, which is the Swiss section, and now I am with the Belgium section. So yeah, it's like a long journey. So it's almost, let's say, 2 years and a half in studying in this program. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And what make you apply for this program?
Actually, it was like, when I heard about it, it was like a good chance for my career path, actually, and for my more development on the level of trainings and technical skills, and having more operational strategic thinking, and to be, introduced to different things that MSF and components that MSF is, working in the field in different missions. So yeah.
Okay, and expectations versus reality. Like sometimes we, like always when we apply, is having expectations about the benefits that we have, or the benefits you have read about the program. So what do you think about it? Do you like feel the benefits?
Yeah, so since the beginning, as the program is blended approach, like there's face-to-face and online courses. So when it was like we had the chance to go to UK for some face-to-face courses, actually it was more, for me, honestly, it was more effective in some courses. But when Corona came, everything turned into online. So like this is part of the expectations that, the face-to-face is now ceased until further notice. And the second thing, from the expectation, I expected, honestly, more practical things in this program, like case studies, scenarios, that is more linked to the field and more practical things rather than academic things. But, this is how it is now. So, like, if you compare reality to expectations, there is some similarities between the expectations and the realities, but still the practical and more realistic, way is a bit missing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I believe COVID have changed a lot, and in the like we work close with a lot of universities all over the world, and it's really challenging to provide a practical experience with the COVID restrictions, and even like the travel restrictions, visa process, a lot of challenging. And a lot of our students actually who like applied for study for this year, most of them, they didn't travel yet, and they are studying online due to the restrictions. So I know it, but it's good to know that you have like taken a lot of the benefits that you are thinking about. So it's very nice aspect from LEAP program. So, and I want to talk more about the selection criteria. I don't know if Caroline and Jassim are part from the selection process or not, but can you tell us more like tips and tricks and what the applicant should focus when they are applying on the program? We can start from Jassim.
Yeah, so in terms of how the selection process works, each operational center will run their own selection committee who will decide on which of the applicants go through to the program. We've been part of some of those selection committees, so we have a good knowledge of how they work. In terms of what applicants should really be looking out for when they're applying in order to improve their chances, I would say one big thing is that we need to really get a clear sense of your motivation and your vision in terms of your long-term career vision. LEAP is really seen as a program for people that really want to invest in their long-term career, not only with MSF, but their long-term humanitarian career. So having a clear insight of what your long-term career vision is will enable those that are part of the selection committee to really see how LEAP fits in within your career. And also in terms of your application, it's just really important to be very clear and concise with the information that you're putting into your application, just to make it easier for the selection committee to really understand what you're talking about. And again, just to get a better understanding of whether the LEAP program fits in within your long-term vision for your career. So I definitely say the biggest thing I would recommend is making sure you have a clear idea of where you want to go career-wise, and making sure you're linking that with the LEAP program. So that means doing research on the LEAP program by going through our website and seeing the information there in terms of who LEAP is for, and also talking to your manager, for example, to see whether LEAP is the correct fit for you, as well as talking with the LEAP focal points at the OCs as well to see whether LEAP is the correct choice for you at this point in your career.
Okay. Caroline, do you have anything to add as a tips and tricks?
Yeah, a little bit. I completely agree with what Jassim has said, which are the main points. I would say have a little look at our LEAP website, which I'm sure we're going to give you at the end of this. We do webinars for new students, for prospective students, and we've run through in quite a lot of detail there the main things in the application form and what we suggest you look for. As Jassim said, we sometimes observe selection committees. We're not part of the selection process, but we observe. So based on that, based on our discussions with the 5 OCs, we've put together what to do, what not to do, what do we see. So we've given quite a lot of detailed information on that. In terms of what people are looking for in general, I completely agree with Jassim about that career path, that clear picture. Why the LEAP? Why not another master's? How are you going to use it? Which subjects are you interested in? And really going into depth. There's no need to list 10. Pick 1 or 2 and explain which courses interest you. The other thing I would really stress, because I think it's sometimes a misconception, is LEAP, of course, is about our future leaders in the organisation, and you might have a very clear path upwards that you want to take, but you don't have to have that. You can also have a path where you say, I want to stay in the position I'm in and I want to be doing my job better. And these are all the things I think LEAP will give me. So really having researched it and thought about what skills, what knowledge do you want to get out of it. MSF commitment, a clear picture of how you think you belong in MSF in the longer term, I would say is really important. And then the other thing I guess I would really stress, which I think Jassim talks a little bit more about in our webinar recorded video, it's that critical thinking. So there's a question on the application form where we ask people to think about, a sort of challenge in the workplace or an area which interests them, and really what the selection committee are looking for when they read through that. It's how you think. We're not expecting you to be the finished product, but we're expecting to see how you reflect on a challenge. And I think that's a really important part of that application.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like when we always talk about applying for programs and scholarship, we always say like the organization who provides this fund is filling its investment, but it's instead of investment in a startup or a company, they invest in a person. So what is the reflect? What is the ROI? What is the return of investment from this? It could be affect your own life, affect you, the people around you. Could be 10, could be 1,000, could be million. Nothing good or right, like good or bad. It's just about what is the effect that will happen, and is it like really will affect you or will not make a difference. So it's very nice, and I always encourage anyone who want to apply for a LEAP program or any other programs, please read the details very well. It's very important. Most of the criteria, it's just like by reading very well the criteria and requirement, etc., and ask clear questions. My case is 1, 2, 3, please. What is your advice? This will like make you not waste your time, not waste the organization time, and give you a right answer. So it's very important tips and tricks. You should consider it when you're applying. So we are talking about applying. Hisham, how was like when you applied to the program? How was your feeling about I'm gonna get accepted in this program? Or because like I remember when I was applying for the first, even most of the programs, I feel okay. I don't think they will accept me. My first competition I have won, I didn't see the result because I was thinking like there's no way I will be applying, and I was like seeing the result by like just for curiosity, not because I'm gonna get accepted, and I found that I won the third prize. So how was it in your side when you was applying? Did you felt like, yes, I will take this opportunity, or I don't know?
Yeah, actually, honestly, in the beginning, because the program was still fresh, still a newborn program. So when I applied, I had some good feelings toward that, since I have been already working in the humanitarianism since like 8 years until now, or like 9 years. So I know what the humanitarianism work is. And even with the application requirements, for me, they were like just things that I could reflect based on my daily experience in the field. So, I mean, I had some good feelings, seriously, and honestly, in the beginning, yeah. So, yeah, and yeah, it worked.
And how was the process from your side? So you like we were talking about the process, the steps, etc. But how you make it, and do you have any tips and tricks about it? So when you apply, each time you got like interview or email, you went to the next step. How was your feeling and motive? What is the things that you advise people to take care of during the journey of applying for the program?
So in the beginning, there was a lot of sending and receiving emails, but now I think it's much better because it was still new. So sometimes in the beginning, you need to send and receive emails to more than 3-4 people, and you reach to the point that you get really confused. Who's this responsible for what, and this and this? But the most important thing in MSF, in the missions, it is actually project-based, or mission-based. Some human resources in some missions, they are really proactive with this, and they support the field staff to facilitate the whole thing. And because it's a new, like the learning unit, it's not something common that you communicate with the learning unit in Barcelona or in Geneva or whatever. So if there is a good human resources staff who really follow up and facilitate and introduce the field stuff about this leap, it would be really much better, because I noticed in different experiences that some missions they have never aware about it. But for the process, as I told you, for me myself in the beginning was a bit. You need to follow up. You need to follow up very well. Otherwise, nobody can follow up for you.
Okay, so back to talk about the benefits of the program. I will ask again, Caroline Jassim. We can start by Caroline. If you are trying to convince a very good candidate why they should apply for this program, what is the reasons that you can mention?
Sure. So I would be stressing that it's a pilot program, that we're 2 years in, and I would be talking about the fact that we have more than 200 students from all over MSF, from 50 different countries, from all different backgrounds who've applied to date, and who've been studying to date, about 150 of them studying now. So I guess I would let them know that it's a new program. We're 2 years into our 3-year pilot, and we're currently under contract negotiations for the next 3 years of LEAP. So we've already had agreement from all 5 operational centres that they want to continue supporting the program. So the program's in a good place, I guess. I would let people know, and it's got a sort of secure future, whilst also being new, innovative, and still learning. I think what's special about LEAP is this flexibility. It's not easy. I mean, I would really stress to someone that it's a big commitment. I wouldn't downplay that, working and studying. But the opportunity to do a master's program fully funded by MSF over 3 to 5 years alongside your job, I think is quite an unusual one, especially when it's open to this really diverse group of MSF staff from all over the movement. I would really stress the importance of having 2 universities in there. You're not choosing a humanitarian master's, you're not choosing a public health master's, you've got both in one. And as well as the core modules which have been created bespoke for MSF for this course, students can choose across a wide range of modules from both universities. So we're trying to give you the best of both worlds. We're trying to give you the specially created MSF content, which more and more is starting to involve more of what I think Hisham was wanting. So more case studies, more scenarios, that's starting to come through more as we create the content, as well as this massive range of courses. So to give you an idea, you've got social and political sciences courses, things like media policy and advocacy, public health courses, things like statistics, maternal and newborn health, and then some management courses as well. So they are the things that I would really pick out. I don't know if it's something that Hisham's talked about yet, but I think this MSF peer group is really important. I think the opportunity to meet this really broad range of people, hopefully face to face again once COVID calms down, again is a really unique one. And I think that peer-to-peer learning, that building of a network around the world, I think is also an amazing thing which LEAP offers. But I will pause and see what Jassim has to add.
Yeah, I think you said most of the points which I would have mentioned. I would really emphasize that peer-to-peer learning element, especially at MSF. We can tend to sometimes work in silos. So medical people will only work with medical people, and non-medical people would only work with non-medical people. So I think the really unique thing about LEAP is that it brings both people with medical backgrounds and people with non-medical backgrounds together in the same learning environment to not only reflect on their own experiences from the field, but also to learn together on the same type of courses. And I think that's a really unique element which we don't really see enough in MSF, but it's something which LEAP really allows you to do. And it means that somebody from a non-medical background is getting real insight into what work is like from someone from a medical background and vice versa. So I think that's really a unique element of the LEAP program, and something from what we've heard from students that they really do enjoy about the program.
Okay, and I got very interesting question from the attendees is, what is the need was behind creating LEAP program?
I can answer that. I mean, the program has been in discussion since about 2016, but I think when you speak to people across the movement, many people have wanted to have a program like this for a long time. I think the key things I would pick are a course which really is developed for our leadership globally, to enable them to take the difficult decisions they have to take. So when we look at what we're trying to do through the program, we're trying to make sure we have a course which people apply directly in their current and their future careers, which enables them to make better decisions. The program is about, as well as all the academic subject, there's a lot of skills which come out of it. So analysing and understanding data, which is something I think all of us do in our everyday jobs, whether it's in headquarters, as I am, whether it's in the field, the sort of skills which you apply on a day-to-day basis. I think the same with the critical thinking, really critically thinking and reflecting. That is what the program is looking to teach you. So I think that was one of the really key things, equipping leaders across MSF for the challenges which they face, which are getting ever more difficult. I think the second thing I would say was this flexible approach. We wanted to move away from a model where in order to do a master's, you have to step away from your job for a year, because that's a great model, but not everybody can access that. And that really comes into the third point around this accessibility. We wanted this to be open to all categories of staff. We wanted this to be open to all MSF. We wanted this to be about developing our global workforce. And that's the sort of the three really key things I would pick out about why we set up the program.
Okay, it's a great mission. And Hisham, I want to ask you, what is the most impact point that joining this program affect you? Like the biggest benefits you have got it from this program?
Actually, the biggest benefit, as maybe Caroline and Jassim just mentioned a few points, it's like to strengthen most of the technical skills I already have, and even to be introduced to some new analytical and strategic thinkings toward different humanitarian aspects and crises. So actually, this is like especially also the reading list that we receive in all of the courses during the semesters are really rich materials. I mean, sometimes you don't have the time to read them all, but you still have them to read them whenever you want as a reference. So you have a huge humanitarian dictionary that really have a lot of skills and articles, talks about different let's say crises or humanitarian aspects that you might really refer to whenever needed. So this is mostly the most important thing, is the reading materials and the technical skills that you develop during the courses.
Okay. Jassim, I wanted to ask you, how many people, like since I'm working in MENA region, helping MENA region students to apply for opportunities, so it's always a curiosity to know how many students from MENA region are in the program.
Yep. So at the moment, we have 30 students from the MENA region in the program. And that is 30 out of an overall of about 200 students overall.
Okay, it's nice percentage. And do you ensure in the program is like to having the diversity and people from different countries? Like, is it like one of the terms you do it in the criteria?
Yeah, so that was one of the original big aims of the program, was around looking, I think as Caroline mentioned, looking at our global workforce and making sure that the program was fully representative of MSF's global workforce. So we've done a lot of work in terms of trying to make sure that the program is more diverse and we're getting people from all areas of MSF. So that's looking at people from all different regions, also looking at all different staff types. So making sure that we have as much national staff as we do international staff, for example, making sure that non-medics and medics are represented, making sure there's an equal gender balance. So it has really been a big aim of the program from the beginning, and it's something which we're continuously working on. So we're continuously looking up new ideas and talking to new people throughout MSF of how we can improve on our diversity and equality. One way we've been doing that recently, for example, is just speaking to different people in different regional offices throughout MSF, just to gain different perspectives on what we can do to improve that. That's been definitely a big aim of the program since its inception.
Okay, and we have mentioned that you have 2 intakes. Is it like, is it open now, the application for the program, or not yet?
So unfortunately, the application is actually just closed about a week ago. So the next round of applications will open in the summer, most likely, I would think in July. Typically, it does open in July. And that would be for the September 2022, sorry, not September, the January 2022 intake.
Yeah, to have enough time to prepare the papers and documents, etc.
Yeah. One thing I should mention, however, is that we also do have standalone modules. So these are individual modules that aren't a part of a particular academic pathway. So for example, if you was really interested in just doing the module on media and advocacy, then you can apply just to do that module. So we do also have those which are currently open.
Okay. And when I was like hearing the one of the videos that promotes the program, someone was saying, I didn't have a degree, but this program helped me to have one. So can you explain more? Because like what I understand, it's a master program. So what is the behind this sentence?
Yeah, so I think Caroline could probably expand on this. But at the beginning of the program, we wanted to ensure that people who didn't have a traditional education route still had access to the program. So at MSF, we have a lot of people that didn't complete a university degree, for example. So but have a lot of experience in the humanitarian sector. So we wanted to ensure that those people were still able to access the program. So because of that, when we had the agreement with the universities, we put provision in there for people to still be able to get onto the program, even if they didn't have a degree, just as long as they can demonstrate that they had a lot of experience and skills previously gained in the humanitarian sector. So when you're referring to that video, that person in question is somebody who didn't have a traditional academic background, so didn't have an undergraduate degree, for example, but had a lot of experience in the higher education sector, in the humanitarian sector, and was able to demonstrate that in the application. So we're able to get onto that program. But I will let Caroline maybe jump in if there's anything to add.
Caroline?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really complete description. I think I would probably stress, the sort of professional experience being recognised was really important for us. Maybe getting back to that diversity point, we really wanted to make sure that people who haven't had such good access to higher education are able to apply for a programme like this, or maybe people who've had an interrupted education because of sort of circumstances in their lives. The way it really works practically is the universities will look at what education have they had, what experience have they got, and what they really try to look at is, have they got the skills from what education they have had and from their professional experience to be able to succeed in the programme? Will they be able to write well enough? Will they have enough kind of analytical skills to date? And they do that maybe through setting a question, sometimes maybe through interview. In many cases, they can simply look at their CV and say, wow, they've got this many years in this role, and they've got this, which is a bit lower than what we would normally ask for a master's. But when you bring the two together, we're very confident that these people can come into the programme. So that's something that's worked quite well. Maybe something else I would mention is Jassim spoke a little bit about the standalone modules just now. So this is something which has really been a sort of more of a focus pathway over the past year. And we see that as a really good access route into the program. So maybe if you don't have a standard educational background, or maybe you haven't studied for a long time, or maybe you're nervous about studying at a European university, or you're nervous about studying and working, and you want to get a taste of the program, that's a really good way to do it. You can just apply for one module, something really relevant to your job, and that gives you a chance to say, okay, look, I can do it, and this is relevant for me, and this is what I want to devote another 3 years to, because it's a big undertaking. I know I keep stressing that, but working and studying, I mean, Hisham will tell you, I'm sure, it's a huge commitment. It's not an easy option. So I think that's quite a nice way to come into the program.
Okay.
Sorry, Sammy, I sorry for interruption. Just to let you know that there are just 7 minutes left of the time of the session. And if you let me, I'd like to take advantage of being one of the hosts and ask a question. Would this be?
Sure.
Yeah, I would like actually to ask about how MSF is keeping the diversity and the inclusiveness in these programs, and how many students are in these programs from our region, from Mina?
Okay.
Thank you.
We have answered the question around the Mina and sort of the diversity, but we can highlight it again if Caroline wanna answer, or
yeah, of course, I'm happy to. So 30 students from the Mina region in total out of about 200. And in case you're interested in a little bit more of a breakdown, apologies, I have some figures next to me. We have students coming from Yemen, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Iran, and Libya. So just to give you a little bit of an idea. We have about 200 students in total. And we have, off the top of my head, I have got the stats here. I can refer to Jassim in a moment. I think about 40% of those staff are locally recruited. We have, gender-wise, again, I'm looking at Jassim, who has our sort of notes for our presentation in front of him. I think gender, it's about 60% male, 40% female, so a little bit more work to do there. And as Jassim was explaining, that diversity and that inclusiveness is really at the heart of the program. It's something we really try and work on. It's something we've got more to do on. Each OC has criteria which look at that diversity. So to give you an idea, OCA really look at ensuring they try and have at least equal numbers of staff who are locally recruited and those who are on an international contract. OCG, to pick an OC off the top of my head, they ask that 90% of staff coming into LEAP from OCG come from countries where MSF has operations. So really making sure it's relevant to the field, it's relevant to a whole workforce. That's really part of the picture. I think the other things which we haven't actually spoke about is we try to not just look at staff categories, we try to look more broadly, we try to think about global workforce. And 2/3 of LEAP students, 65%, come from low to middle income countries. So this is 2 years in, we're early on in, we'd still like those ratios to become a little bit more representative. But we think 2 years in, you know, that's a pretty good start, and that each OC is thinking about that as they go into their committees, setting sort of targets around that as well. I don't know if Jassim has anything else to add, or if he has any more statistics to add in. I think I got them right.
No, I have anything else to add. I thought you put that nicely.
Okay. Hisham, firstly, like back to what we was talking with Caroline, studying and working is not easy. What is the tips for anyone trying to do that or doing that already to manage their time and make it more efficient?
Yeah, the key point is the dedication. I mean, if you are not dedicated enough, especially it's more academic. I mean, the whole study process is, as I told you in the beginning, it's interesting, but the way how the course is ended, it's like you need to finalize the course with academic writing papers. So this is also not easy, because usually humanitarians are not used to, academic writing and, put full stop, comma, semicolon. If the reference is missing one dash, it is completely wrong. So we are more into, bullet points, practical, going to the field, and yalla, tick, tick, tick. But with academic writing, it's a bit challenging, honestly, that you need really to stick to the whole materialistic frame of the final papers. So anybody who wants to join the LEAP, this is my advice. You need to take a big care of this. Otherwise, it will be really hectic, and it's not easy, because it's not like practically you write a strategy of a program. I mean, okay, you can refer as for example, you have bibliography or references, but it's not that you need to have it in a proper way if you miss a comma. But no, with the LEAP, it's academic writing. It is academic. It's not humanitarian. So yeah. So
thank you so much, Hisham. We are totally on time. It was a pleasure to have all of you, and it's my pleasure to be a moderator and be in one of MSF activities. Thank you, everyone, and thanks for MSF for hosting all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of you. It was a very interesting session. I hope everyone get benefit from the data you all have submitted. I will return back to the Arabic. Sorry. والآن انتهت جلستنا عن المنح الدراسية، وننتظر خلال دقائق جلستنا الأخيرة لهذا اليوم، والأخيرة في فعاليات فعاليات اليوم، وهي عن الإسعافات الأولية. هي تدريب عملي عبر الإنترنت عن أهم الإسعافات الأولية التي يمكن أن يستفيد منها الجميع. انتظرونا خلال دقائق. شكراً.